if this was an away game, I would sit him. And you can't give away divisional home games, particularly this early in the season. So I know it's high risk, but he's a smart dude. He can get rid of the ball quick. I would not sit him this game.
Well, to me, the answer is in the diagnosis, and only Mike McCarthy really knows that. If you think about it, some injuries just don't worsen even if you play. Like, it depends on where it is. Is it on this side of the threshold, or like a torn meniscus that, you know, quarterbacks can get away with? Grade 1 MCL. Is it a hyperextension? That's kind of like, all right, let's go see it. But if it's something worse than that, then Mike McCarthy obviously should sit this guy. You got to think about the future and the runway. That said, look, we all saw RG3 evaporate on the football field because of a knee injury that some people said he shouldn't have played and really altered his career. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers is not in that place, in that space, because if so, definitely sit him down.
He's never in the RG3 place. But
well, the knee may be, not the player, but the knee may be.
Listen, I just know from experience when the doctors say, well, you can't do any further damage, yes, you can do further damage, right? When they say that, I mean automatically, yeah, 20 knee surgeries, and I mean, you think about this now. If you're playing with an injury or you're playing with a torn piece of meniscus or whatever the case may be, you're creating degenerative changes within your joint that arthritic changes that are going to happen. So, of course, you're doing further damage. With that said, I would think long and hard about sitting him, and then I would play him.
Right.
Like Deshaun Kaiser came out of the draft and said, hey, listen, I've got the body of Cam Newton and the mind of Tom Brady. I automatically took him off the draft board. Like, you can't play for me. Like, if you're that, I mean, you're crazy if you think that that's what you are. You're not going to win without Aaron Rodgers. So if he can walk at all, I'm telling you what, you got to be a friend of the needle. I was a friend of the needle. That's what kept me in games. Shoot that damn thing up, get him out there, and let him lead his team. You ain't winning without Aaron Rodgers. You ain't winning without 12.
No. Is this guy old school or what?
Man, for real.
Let's get out there. Come on, tough it
out.
Go. Yeah, you're going to lose if he doesn't play. That's all there is to it. So just know that. But also you have to think ahead, too, and go, well, we got a long season. You're going against one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah. One of the best, second best team, in my opinion, in the NFL. So you have to be smart about it. But he showed that he didn't even need a knee. I mean, he can go out there and just limp around and win this game. But I think that's what it is. You got to know the diagnosis. Is it something that could linger for the rest of the year, or you take 1 week off and then you'll be right back into the fold next week? I would just judge it from that situation.
I really see this as a non-issue. If Green Bay sat out and watched what Khalil Mack did in the first half and put Aaron Rodgers back on the field, how can they not play him against the Vikings? Yeah. He got hurt in the first half of that game. They sat and watched Khalil Mack just dominate the whole thing, and they still stuck him out there, and he knew how to protect himself and play. I think you're in the same situation here.
I think the difference is, though, you're coming back out there, you're trying to lead your team to an epic comeback. Adrenaline takes over.
Yeah.
Right? You're in that moment. It's hard to manufacture adrenaline before a game. That, especially if you know, like, hey,
he's still salty with the Vikings over that hit.
I will tell you this, though. I have never seen a guy who is a better off-platform thrower. He's throwing on one leg. He can't step up, and he still drives the ball. Usually, if you can't step up, you're going to sail the ball over a receiver's head. He's still driving the ball down the football field, one leg.
Yeah, to your point about the adrenaline, that's a real thing because once you get a chance to prepare and have your collective breath, a step away from the game to come back that next Sunday, we all know it, whether you had an injection at halftime, whatever it is, you can't manufacture that emotional space. You can't just say, I'm going to go right back to that place. The adrenaline allowed him to continue, but now to try and get back to that place, sometimes the elevator doesn't reach it.
All right, let's move to Seattle. All right, so Pete Carroll spent with the Legion of Boom and the old school guys. He took a lot of heat. He didn't attack or didn't question or criticize Russell Wilson. And we thought some of moving out the Legion of Boom would be less conversation or any negative conversation about Russell Wilson. I don't know if I would have made any comments this early in the season about Russell needs to do better. Russ is all they got. And I think Pete's criticism is somewhat legitimate. Russ tries to do too much in the pocket sometimes rather than just getting rid of the ball. I get it. I would handle it privately more than I would publicly.
Well, I have no issue with him calling them out because my assumption is you came to me first, Coach, with the criticism. Therefore, once the outside world hears that echo, doesn't matter. Because in that same conversation, if I didn't want the outside world to know, I would let you know. And then if you did cross that line, then we got a problem, Coach. But it's time for him to put his big boy pants on. Tom Brady has to wear them. Belichick will call Tom Brady out tomorrow without any issue. And in part, it's because Tom Brady's Tom Brady and your greatness. You got big shoulders. In part, is because you got the big contract, Russell Wilson. And when you weren't getting paid like the franchise quarterback you were, yeah, we're going to protect you in other ways so you don't feel the pain. But now, since the Legion of Boom is gone and it's your team, here you go.
Listen, I would never do it in public. I would never do it in a public platform. One, I think from a coaching standpoint, you guys did not do a very good job at all. One, you only ran the ball 16 times. I called the game. Yeah. You only ran it 16 times. Two, you set up no boot keep action game at all. You did not get your quarterback outside the pocket ever, designed. So you didn't put a threat on that defense, a run-pass option threat ever, not one time in that game. The one time you half rolled out, you threw a 51-yard touchdown to Lockett. It was an exceptional route, but you got him away from all that pressure and you threw it. You did that one time. So, like, you know, it's don't point the finger, pull the thumb. That's on you as a coaching staff. Now, if you want to rip him in team meeting, I'm all for it. Man, I saw my offensive line coach rip John Elway for not carrying out a boot keep. I mean, in his grill in team meetings. That doesn't bother me at all. We all go through that. But I'm like, if you want to point the finger, you know, point it at yourself and say, we have to do a better job coaching Russell Wilson. I just don't want to put it out in public.
You know, he has, Coach Carroll, he has that reputation being that player's coach. You led with that. And I've been reading that they're talking about the Russell Wilson rules for that team. That basically he gets better treatment. Now, I'm wondering if this could have been done by design, where it's like, hey, I'm going to go to you, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go to the media, and I'm going to tell them that the same thing I just told you. I have had that situation before. I remember when I showed up to Atlanta Falcons, my position coach, his name's Chris Selfo. Love him to death, still one of my best friends. I showed up the first day. I don't even know this guy. He calls me on the phone, and he goes, hey, that first couple days of practice, I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm going to get into you. Even if you're doing it kind of right, I'm going to yell at you in front of everybody. He has that accent, too. Right. And I'm like, why? And he goes, because if they see me yelling at you, the things you've done, imagine what that message is going to send to them. And I was like, okay, I guess. I go, but be careful, don't cross the line. I'm not that embarrassed. Right. But I'm wondering if this is him saying, you know what, I'm going to take control of the team. If I'm going to call Russell out, the leader of this team. Nobody on this team is above me and what I'm trying to get done.
It goes back to, you know, Jimmy Johnson, our Jimmy Johnson right here, said this a long time ago. He said, if the fourth or fifth string running back falls asleep in the meeting, he's getting cut. If Emmitt Smith falls asleep in the meeting, he's getting nudged. Right?
Or pillow.
Right? Yeah. Right. Yeah, so, I mean, that's the way that goes.
Let's talk about in the locker room how it plays. As you said, Tony, there's an absence of dog on this team because the Legion of Boom is gone, right? And all respect to Russell Wilson, but that's not my type of leader. I like hard, barking, biting dogs. I want to hear you coming, and then I want to feel you when you come. Russell Wilson is more of the polite effort, and I think that maybe this is the play of design where he's like, let me show a little bite of our team, a bite into our team, because we have some absent dogs who are no longer on this roster.